Hi, it's Miss Heather. I'm the music director here at Conservatory of the Ozarks, and it is October 15th, 2021. So I wanted to do another little update video today. I'm here in the lobby at the Conservatory, and I've been getting a lot of questions, of course, based on our last few update videos about how everything is going here at the Conservatory with all the COVID situations that have been occurring over the last year and a half or so. So we here at the Conservatory need about $4,000 a month to stay open and to pay our bills, pay our rent, and everything else that we need to pay for. So $4,000. To earn the money to pay those bills, each teacher here pays what we call a studio fee, which is $25 for each student that teacher teaches that month. So, for example, if we had 100 students here, we would have $2,500 in studio fees to help pay our bills. So, right now, we're at about 70 students, which is a lot of growth from where we were at a year ago after the shutdown and when we thought we were going to close. So that's great. But, you know, if you do the math, 70 students times $25 is about $1,750 for the month in income. And that leaves us with a shortfall of nearly $2,300 each month. So that's why we won't be able to stay open after this month, because after this month we'll be out of donation money and we won't have enough to pay our bills in November. So that's very simply why we have to close, unless we get another big donation. And I have been so surprised to see that people actually have been donating to our GoFundMe again this week, which is so kind. So generous, and it means so much to me. Unfortunately, we haven't received nearly enough to equal that $2,300 shortfall for next month, but you know, it still means a lot to see people giving. And there was another number thing I was going to say in answer to a question, but I don't remember what it was now. I really should have notes before I start a video, I guess. But yeah, that's the basic explanation, though. We just need a certain amount of money to stay open every month. And when last year around this time in October of 2020, we were down, I think, to 10 or 15 students, not counting my students, because I don't pay studio fees on my students anymore. Which I've explained in other videos. I always had paid studio fees, but when I thought we were going to close, bought a house so I could move my students into my house, and I can't afford to pay studio fees and pay a mortgage, both. So the Conservatory will have to be able to support itself with its own studio fees, not with mine, if we're going to be able to stay open. So that's kind of where we're at. We have now about 70 students, and that just isn't quite enough income. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. What would it take? I think I did the math for this before. Let's just double check. I think if we have 160 students, yeah, that will put us at $4,000 a month. So we're about 90 students short, which, wow, it just makes me feel so sad to think that we're that close, you know, $2,300 a month or 90 students away from being just back on track and able to stay open and thrive. Because in a way that it just feels like we're so close, especially considering a year ago, like to have gained 50 or 60 students over such a short amount of time, because our growth really started with the school year. We got like so many new students this year. So it is really sad to think of being so close, but not quite close enough after putting in so much work. That is really sad. But I don't know a magical answer to get that much more money every month in the amount of time that we have left to decide if we should stay open or close. So this is the day that we had set to decide if we would stay open or not. And unless we do get a miracle donation again, like we already have gotten several times over the last year, this will have to be the conservatory's last month open. And after October, I will close down our building here and transition to teaching my students out of my home. And all the other teachers will have to make arrangements for how they'll continue teaching their students. Hopefully they can teach out of their homes or go to their students' homes to teach so they can continue having lessons or transfer to a different music studio here in town. And then I'll have to work on moving everything out of here and repainting the walls, spackling the holes, that kind of thing through November, which just seems like so much work. And it is sad work because, you know, it's a lot of work to paint the walls and to arrange the furniture and like try to make the studio look nice. That's a lot of work too, but like when you do that, you're building your dream. But having to sort of disassemble your dream, like tear your dream apart because it has died, it's just such a different feeling behind the work. It's not very nice. And I'll have to sell 2 pianos, I think, because I can't keep all of them at my house probably. So it'll be a lot of things to do, and it will be probably not my happiest month ever, but that is how life goes sometimes. And I really appreciate the messages that I've been getting from some people saying, oh, don't say you failed. You didn't fail. It's not your fault that COVID happened. So when I say I failed, I'm not trying to say that in like a self-deprecating, like, oh, feel bad for me, I'm such a failure. I don't mean it like that. I don't think I failed to do my best. I really did try hard to keep the conservatory going and to use the money we were given the best I knew how to try to help us reach that 160 student mark before the money ran out. I just didn't quite do it. So I had an objective and I did fail. We needed to get to 160 students before the money ran out. That was the objective, and I was not able to make that happen, so I failed, and that means the conservatory has to close. And I don't mean to say like I failed, like, oh, you know how people will be like, oh, I'm so terrible, blah blah blah, like to try to fish for a compliment. I don't mean it in that way. It's just I failed, and that's why we have to close. It may be that I wasn't the cause of the conservatory having to close, because I didn't cause COVID as far as I know, but still, like, it was my goal was to reach this amount of students so we could stay open, and I didn't get there. So it is a failing on my part, and I wish I could have succeeded. It is sad, but that is how it happened. So I'm just trying to look on the bright side. At least I don't have to lose my job. At least I can keep teaching my students. I don't have to like stop teaching and then, I don't know, like work at an insurance agency or as a waitress or as a math teacher, or I don't know, something that I wouldn't be very good at it and wouldn't like very much. Like, at least I get to still do the job that I want to do, and I still can earn the same amount of money, so I can still support myself, and, you know, it'll be fine. It could be much worse. Like, sometimes when people lose their business, they do, like, just have to go find a random job to pay their bills. And so I'm just trying to be at peace with it, because I feel like I did give it my all. It didn't work out. So even though it feels super sad, like, what are you going to do? You got to move on. People have asked if I'll do some pictures or videos of the huge makeover that will be happening at my house. So I'll see if I can kind of try to do that. I have thought, somebody suggested this last year, and I do think it's a good idea if we are going to close for sure, doing a goodbye party. And this kind of reminds me of I had this friend who had cancer, and she did this fun photo shoot kind of party thing to have her head shaved by her kids, since she was going to lose her hair anyway. So she kind of took this really tragic, horribly tragic situation and turned it into something kind of fun and memorable and sweet. So I thought maybe we could do that, plan a goodbye conservatory party, and whoever has taught here, taken lessons here, been a family member of somebody who's taken lessons here, or just attended our performances out in the community, anybody would be invited to come. And maybe this is what gave me the idea, and this is why I'm filming this in the lobby. I thought one of the things we could do is people could maybe say what the conservatory has meant to them or how it's affected their lives. But see this? It's hard to even get it in the camera all at once. This is the logo for the conservatory, and maybe if I open the door. My sister-in-law, who used to be the art teacher here at the conservatory, she painted that in the lobby several years ago when we moved into this building. And I have always really loved having that in the lobby. I just think I love how it's diagonal and how big it is. And when I was thinking of how I'll have to undo all the making over we've done to the studios here over the years, the thing that made me feel the saddest is the idea of painting over that. So I thought maybe we could, that could be one of the things, if we have a goodbye party, we could have everybody help paint over it. And maybe that can turn it into something kind of meaningful and memorable, that this is a thing that happened, and it was a good thing while it lasted, and it meant a lot to oh my goodness, I was really sure I wasn't gonna cry. I just can't talk about these things without crying. I have to go find a tissue so I don't mess up my makeup, because I have students here in a little bit. But anyway, I just thought, sorry, I know it's not at all professional, but I just don't have time to make these perfect videos and edit them until everything is just right. So just trying to convey information to answer some questions I've been getting. So these are the answers. If you're interested in the information, you can watch the video. If you want a perfect polished video, I guess you can watch someone else's channel. But anyways, that's kind of my idea. Not that my little business closing is anything at all comparable to somebody having cancer and going through chemotherapy. But for me, it does probably kind of feel a little bit like that, because it's oh, I had this dream and I worked really hard to build it. And that's what I've been doing for my whole adult life, for my whole career. And I thought that I had succeeded at being able to live my dream, and then now it is going to fail after all. So I'm just trying to think of some little ways of remembering the good parts of it as I try to move forward into a new phase of my career. And after the conservatory is closed down and I have my house set up for a home studio, it probably will be fine and great and everything, and I'll be totally happy with it. But just right now, it's just hard right now, not being on this side of it. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to always get so emotional when I do these videos, YouTube therapy, I guess. So I don't feel as sad as I did last year. I know it probably seems like I'm a huge mess, but
I honestly don't feel as bad because I've known for a year that this could happen. I've known that, you know, it might happen that we run out of money, and so it wasn't as much of a surprise as it was last year. I've had time to kind of like let my mind wrap around the idea of it, but it is hard after putting so much work in over this last year and seeing so many people give money to try to keep my dream alive because they saw value in it. It does make me feel sad to think of it still failing after all of that, but I guess that's how life goes sometimes. And we'll just see what the future brings, I guess. So I'll try and keep everybody up to date over the next few weeks with how everything is going, but that's what things are looking like right now. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.